I, 28F, have been married to my husband Ryan, 30M, for 3 years. We have a 4-month-old daughter Lily together, and this whole situation stems from what happened on my first Mother's Day last month. For context, Lily was born in January, so she was about 3.5 months old on Mother's Day. I was still dealing with postpartum recovery, sleep deprivation, and adjusting to being a new mom. It had been a really hard few months for me physically and emotionally. The pregnancy was rough. I had severe morning sickness that lasted well into my second trimester, and I developed gestational diabetes. I also had to stop working at 32 weeks because I developed preeclampsia and was put on bed rest. My company held my position, and I'm scheduled to return to work in January when Lily turns 12 months old. Labor was traumatic. I was in labor for 18 hours and ended up needing an emergency C-section when Lily's heart rate dropped. The recovery was brutal. I couldn't lift anything heavier than the baby for 6 weeks, and I was in significant pain for weeks after the surgery. Breastfeeding has been a constant struggle. Lily had trouble latching initially, and I developed mastitis twice in the first 3 months. Between feeding her every 2 to 3 hours and pumping, I feel like I'm constantly attached to either the baby or the pump. Sleep has been terrible. Even when Ryan helps with night feedings, I still have to wake up to pump. I've been getting maybe 3 to 4 hours of broken sleep per night since Lily was born. I need to be honest about something that's been bothering me. During my pregnancy, I started noticing changes in how Ryan treated me. He used to be thoughtful about special occasions. He'd remember my birthday, our anniversary, things like that. But during pregnancy, he seemed to get more stressed about finances and less focused on those kinds of things. I thought it was just anxiety about becoming a father and providing for our family. He started making comments about how I was lucky to get time off work while he had to keep working. He also seemed less interested in pregnancy milestones and more focused on practical things like baby gear and money. After Lily was born, this got worse. Ryan helps with childcare, but he's made it clear that since I'm on leave, it's primarily my responsibility during the day. He's good with Lily when he's taking care of her, but he doesn't really take initiative. I have to ask him to do things like make appointments or buy supplies. I've been struggling with what I think might be postpartum depression. I've felt overwhelmed, anxious, and sometimes hopeless. When I've mentioned this to Ryan, he says things like, all new moms feel this way and you'll adjust. So when Mother's Day approached, I thought Ryan would at least acknowledge it or do something small to make the day special. Even just letting me sleep in or making me breakfast would have meant the world to me. Instead, Ryan completely forgot it was Mother's Day. He woke up that morning and acted like it was any other Sunday. When I came downstairs with Lily after nursing her, he didn't say anything about the day. I waited to see if he'd remember, but when it became clear he'd forgotten, I said, "Happy Mother's Day to me, I guess." He looked up and said, "Oh right, Happy Mother's Day," but then went right back to his phone. I was hurt, but tried not to make a big deal about it. I figured maybe he'd remember later and do something nice. But then around noon, Ryan told me he was going to play golf with his buddies. He said they'd had the tea time booked for weeks, and he'd forgotten it was Mother's Day when they planned it. I was shocked. I told him I'd been looking forward to spending the day together as a family, and that I really needed his support. Ryan said I was being dramatic, and that Mother's Day wasn't that big of a deal. He said I was still the same person, and that having a baby didn't mean everything had to revolve around me now. I started crying and told him how hurt I was. Ryan got annoyed and said I was being overly emotional and hormonal. He said he'd make it up to me later, but that he wasn't going to cancel his golf plans because I was having a moment. I told him he was being selfish and inconsiderate. Ryan just grabbed his golf bag and left. He told me to calm down while he was gone and that I should get some perspective. I spent the entire day alone with Lily, crying on and off. I felt so unappreciated and invisible. Ryan came home around 7 p.m. with grocery store flowers that he'd clearly picked up last minute. When I was still upset, he said he didn't understand why I was still mad since he'd gotten me flowers. I tried to explain why I was so hurt, but Ryan just didn't get it. He kept saying that Mother's Day was just a made-up holiday and that I was being too sensitive. We had a huge fight that night. I told him that his reaction showed me how little he valued me as a mother. Ryan said I was being dramatic and that he was tired of walking on eggshells around me since Lily was born. He said I'd become impossible to please. Things have been tense between us ever since. Ryan seems to think I should just get over it, but I can't. It wasn't just about the day itself. It was about feeling like my husband didn't see or appreciate what I'd been going through. Now Father's Day is coming up this weekend, and Ryan has been dropping hints about what he wants to do. He's mentioned wanting to go to brunch and play golf in the afternoon. But I don't want to celebrate Father's Day for him. I know that might sound petty, but I'm still so hurt about Mother's Day that I can't bring myself to put effort into making his day special when he couldn't do the same for me. Yesterday, Ryan asked what our plans were for Father's Day. I told him I wasn't planning anything special. He was shocked and asked why I wasn't celebrating it with him. I told him that after what happened on Mother's Day, I didn't feel like putting effort into Father's Day. I said if these holidays aren't important to him, then I guess they're not important to our family. Ryan got upset and said I was being vindictive and petty. He said that what happened on Mother's Day was a mistake and that it wasn't fair to punish him by ruining Father's Day. I told him I wasn't trying to punish him. I just didn't have it in me to celebrate after how he made me feel. Ryan said I was being manipulative and using Father's Day as a weapon against him. He's been cold to me ever since. His mom even called to tell me I was being childish and that I should celebrate Ryan as a father regardless of what happened on Mother's Day. Am I being petty and vindictive by refusing to celebrate Father's Day? Should I just be the bigger person and celebrate it despite what happened on Mother's Day? Am I in the wrong for refusing to celebrate Father's Day for my husband because he destroyed my first Mother's Day and I'm still hurt and angry? Update 3 days later. Wow, okay, so thanks for all the responses. Honestly, wasn't expecting so many people to be on my side. I thought I'd get told I was overreacting, but most of you seem to think Ryan's behavior was actually pretty bad. Reading through the comments has been eye-opening. So many people shared similar stories, and it made me realize what happened wasn't just a misunderstanding like Ryan's mom said. Yesterday, I tried to have another conversation with Ryan about everything. I told him that I really needed him to understand how much it hurt me. Ryan immediately got defensive and said he was tired of talking about it. He said that I was beating a dead horse and that had already apologized. When I pointed out that had never actually said he was sorry, he said that was just semantics. I asked him what he thought would happen if our roles were reversed. If I had forgotten Father's Day and left him alone with the baby all day while he was struggling with depression. He said that was different because he wouldn't make such a big deal about it. The conversation went nowhere. Ryan kept saying that I was overreacting and that I needed to get over it. He said he couldn't change the past and that I was being unfair by holding it against him forever. Starting to think that maybe some of you are right that this goes deeper than just one bad day. Noticing patterns in how Ryan handles conflict that I didn't see before, or maybe I made excuses for them. Still haven't decided what to do about Father's Day. Part of me wants to just celebrate it to avoid more conflict, but another part of me feels like that would be giving up on getting the acknowledgement I need. I've been thinking about calling a therapist like some of you suggested. Ryan has made comments in the past about therapy being a waste of money, but I think I need to talk to someone about what I'm going through regardless of how he feels about it. We'll update again after Father's Day happens. Update 1 week later. Well, Father's Day happened, and it was pretty much a disaster. Writing this on my phone at my mom's house because I decided I needed some space after everything that went down. I ended up not planning anything special for Father's Day like I said I wouldn't. Ryan kept asking me throughout the week what we were doing, and I kept telling him I hadn't planned anything. He seemed to think I was bluffing right up until Sunday morning. On Sunday, Ryan woke up clearly expecting me to have something planned. When I didn't acknowledge the day, he started getting passive-aggressive. Made comments like, I guess Father's Day doesn't matter in this house, and it's nice to see how much my family appreciates me. Told him that if he wanted to do something for Father's Day, he was welcome to plan it himself. He said that wasn't the point. The point was that I was supposed to celebrate him. Said that's how marriage works. Ryan ended up calling his mom and telling her that I was boycotting Father's Day. She invited him over for dinner and said he should bring Lily, but that I might want to stay home and think about my attitude. I was so angry about that comment. Told Ryan that his mom had no right to comment on my attitude and that I was tired of being treated like a child who needed to be scolded. Ryan said that maybe if I stopped acting like a child, people would stop treating me like one. Said that his mom was just trying to help and that I was being disrespectful to his family. We had a huge fight then. Told Ryan that I was tired of being dismissed and criticized by him and his family. Said that I was dealing with a lot and that I needed support, not judgment. Ryan said that I was always dealing with something and that he was tired of walking on eggshells around me. Said that I used to be fun and easygoing, but that having a baby had made me impossible to please. That really hurt. Told him that having a baby had changed me because it's a huge life change and that I needed my husband to support me through it instead of criticizing me for struggling. Ryan said that he was tired of everything being about me and my feelings. Said that he had feelings too and that I never considered how my behavior affected him. I started crying and told him that I wasn't being demanding, I was just asking for basic respect and consideration. Ryan said that I was being manipulative by crying and that I always did that when I wanted to win an argument. The fight escalated and Ryan ended up saying that he was tired of being married to someone who was always unhappy and that maybe we should just get divorced if I was so miserable. I was shocked that he brought up divorce. Asked him if that was really what he wanted, and he said that he was tired of fighting all the time and that maybe we'd both be happier apart. Told him that I didn't want to get divorced, but that I couldn't keep living like this. Said that I felt like he didn't respect me or care about my feelings and that I was tired of being dismissed and criticized. Ryan said that if I wanted space, I should be the one to leave since it was my problem. So, I packed a bag and came to my mom's house with Lily. I've been at my mom's house for 3 days now. Ryan has texted me a few times, but mostly just to ask when I'm coming home. He hasn't apologized or acknowledged anything we talked about. My mom has been really supportive, said that she's been worried about me, and that she thinks Ryan has been treating me poorly. Said that she noticed changes in how he talked to me even during my pregnancy, but that she didn't want to interfere. Being away from Ryan has made me realize how much stress I was carrying around. Didn't realize how much I was walking on eggshells around him until I wasn't anymore. Don't know what's going to happen with my marriage. Part of me still loves Ryan and wants to work things out, but am starting to wonder if he's capable of being the partner I need him to be. We'll update again after I figure out what I want to do. Update 2 weeks later. Saw my doctor yesterday and she confirmed that I do have postpartum depression. She prescribed medication and gave me some resources for support groups. It was actually a relief to have a medical professional validate what I've been experiencing. Ryan's reaction when I told him about the diagnosis was not great. Said that I was looking for excuses and that lots of women have babies without needing medication. Said that I should just try to think more positively. Tried to get a therapy appointment, but the earliest they can see me is in 6 weeks. Apparently there's a waiting list, which is frustrating, but at least it's something. Still staying at my mom's house. Ryan has been calling more frequently and asking when I'm coming home, but he hasn't really acknowledged any of the issues we talked about. Yesterday, he said that he's tired of me punishing him and that I'm being dramatic. He also said that people are starting to ask questions about where I am and that it's embarrassing for him. Said that I'm making him look bad by staying away, which bothered me because he seemed more concerned about appearances than about actually fixing our problems. Told Ryan that I'm not trying to punish him or make him look bad. I just need space to work on my mental health and figure out what I want. Said that if he wanted to work on our marriage, he could start by acknowledging that there are real problems that need to be addressed. Ryan said that the only problem is that I'm being oversensitive and that I need to come home so we can get back to normal. Said that running away isn't solving anything. We're supposed to have a conversation this weekend about what happens next. Nervous about it because I don't think Ryan understands how serious this is. He seems to think that I'm just having a temporary breakdown and that I'll eventually come to my senses. But I don't want to be the wife I was before. Don't want to be someone who accepts being dismissed and criticized. Want to be in a marriage where my feelings matter and where my partner supports me through difficult times. Not sure if Ryan is capable of being that partner. He seems to view any request for emotional support as me being demanding. We'll update after Ryan and I talk this weekend. Update 1 week later. The conversation with Ryan didn't go well. He came to my mom's house Saturday morning and we talked for about 2 hours. It became clear pretty quickly that we're seeing things very differently. Ryan started by saying that he missed me and Lily and that he wanted us to come home. Said that he was willing to try harder to remember special occasions and that he'd be more careful about his comments. Told him that I appreciated that, but that I thought our problems went deeper than just forgetting Mother's Day. Said that I felt like he didn't respect my feelings and that he dismissed my struggles instead of supporting me. Ryan said that he did respect my feelings, but that I was being oversensitive lately. Said that I took everything personally and that I was looking for reasons to be upset. When I brought up my PPD diagnosis, he said that he wasn't dismissing it, but that he thought medication wasn't necessary. Said that I should try other things first, like exercise and positive thinking. This really bothered me because it showed that he still didn't understand that PPD is a medical condition, not just a bad mood. Ryan also said that he thought staying at my mom's house was making things worse because my mom was filling my head with ideas about how I should be treated. Said that my mom had never liked him and that she was encouraging me to leave him. I told him that my mom wasn't influencing me. I was making my own decisions based on how I felt in our marriage. The conversation went downhill from there. Ryan got frustrated and said that he felt like I was trying to change him into someone he wasn't. Said that he married me because I was independent and easygoing and that having a baby had made me clingy and demanding. Told him that having a baby changes people and that we needed to adapt to our new roles together. Said that I didn't think asking for emotional support was being demanding. By the end of the conversation, it was clear that we weren't going to agree. Ryan said that he was tired of talking in circles and that I needed to decide whether I wanted to be married or not. Told him that I wanted to be married, but only if we could work on our problems together. said that I was willing to go to couples counseling, but that he would have to be willing to acknowledge that there were issues. Ryan said that he didn't think we needed counseling and that our problems would be solved if I just came home and stopped overanalyzing everything. Said that therapy was just a way for people to make excuses. Told him that I wasn't going to come home unless he was willing to work on our marriage seriously. He said that was an ultimatum and that he didn't respond well to ultimatums. Ryan left after that. Said that he was disappointed in me and that he hoped I'd come to my senses soon. Said that he wasn't going to keep begging me to come home. Been really upset since that conversation. Starting to think that Ryan and I have fundamentally different ideas about what marriage should be done. I don't know what's going to happen next. Ryan hasn't called or texted since our conversation, which I think is his way of trying to force me to make the first move. Finally had my first therapy appointment this week. It helped to talk to someone professional about everything. Therapist says what I'm experiencing is normal PPD and that Ryan's dismissive response isn't supportive. She asked me what I wanted my life to look like and whether I could have that with Ryan. Honestly, not sure I can. Update 3 weeks later. I've made a decision. I'm going to file for divorce. It wasn't easy to come to this conclusion, but I realized that Ryan isn't willing to do the work necessary to fix our marriage. He's been calling me occasionally over the past few weeks, but always to ask when I'm coming home, never to actually discuss our problems. Last week he called and said that he was tired of waiting for me to get over whatever I was going through. Said that if I didn't come home by Christmas, he was going to assume I'd chosen to leave the marriage. Told him that I hadn't chosen to leave. I'd chosen to work on myself and on our problems. Said that I was still willing to try couples counseling if he was serious about addressing our issues. Ryan said that he didn't see what issues we had other than me being difficult. Said that if I came home and stopped overanalyzing, everything would be fine. That conversation made me realize that Ryan genuinely doesn't understand what the problems are in our marriage. He sees my need for emotional support as being needy. He sees my hurt feelings as being oversensitive. He sees my postpartum depression as being dramatic. My therapist has been helping me understand that I can't change Ryan. I can only change how I respond to him. She asked me what I wanted my life to look like and whether I could have that life with Ryan. I realized that I couldn't. I want to be in a relationship where my feelings are respected and where I'm supported through difficult times. Want to raise Lily in an environment where she learns that she deserves to be treated with kindness and respect. I can't do that with Ryan because he doesn't see anything wrong with how he treats me. He's not willing to go to counseling, he's not willing to educate himself about postpartum depression, and he's not willing to acknowledge that his behavior has been hurtful. I met with a lawyer yesterday to discuss my options. She said that given my PPD diagnosis and the fact that Eve been the primary caregiver for Lily, I'd likely get primary custody. She also said that I'd be entitled to spousal support since Eve been out of work. I'm scared about being a single mother and about how this will affect Lily, but also relieved to have made a decision. I can't keep living in limbo waiting for Ryan to become someone he's not willing to become. Going to serve Ryan with papers after Christmas. Not looking forward to his reaction, but think it's the right thing to do for me and for Lily. My mom has been incredible through all of this. She's offered to let us stay with her as long as we need to, and she's been helping me research apartments and jobs. Know that not all marriages are like this. Know there are men who support their wives through postpartum depression and who see emotional support as part of being a partner. Hope that someday I'll find that kind of relationship, but for now I need to focus on myself and Lily. Thank you to everyone who has been following my story and offering support. Your comments helped me realize that I wasn't being unreasonable for wanting to be treated with respect and kindness. We'll update one more time after I serve Ryan with the papers. Final update, 6 weeks later. I served Ryan with divorce papers right after New Year's. His reaction was pretty much what I expected. At first he was shocked. Said he couldn't believe I was actually going through with this, and that I was being ridiculous. Said that I was throwing away our family over nothing, and that I was going to regret it. Then he got angry. Said that I was selfish, and that I was using Lily as a weapon against him. Threatened to fight for custody and said that I was an unfit mother because of my PPD. Stayed calm, and told him that I wasn't trying to keep Lily away from him. I wanted him to be part of her life. Said that the divorce was about our marriage, not about his relationship with Lily. Even in the face of divorce, Ryan still couldn't acknowledge that he had done anything wrong. He still saw all of our problems as being my fault. It confirmed that I was making the right decision. Ryan has been telling people that I left him for no reason, and that I'm having some kind of breakdown. He's been painting himself as the victim and me as the unstable wife who abandoned her family. But the people who know me best understand what really happened. My family and close friends have been incredibly supportive. The divorce process is moving forward slowly. We're working out custody arrangements. Ryan will have Lily every other weekend and one evening during the week. He's not happy about it, but my lawyer says it's a fair arrangement. Moving into my own apartment next month. It's small, but it's mine, and I'm excited about the independence. My PPD is much better now that I'm on medication and in therapy. Still have bad days, but I feel more like myself than I have in months. Sleeping better and not constantly anxious about saying or doing the wrong thing. Starting back at work next week, which is good timing. Need the income and the independence. Nervous about balancing work and being a single mother, but think it will be better than staying in a marriage where I felt unheard and unvalued. Looking back, I can see that Ryan and I had different ideas about marriage from the beginning. I thought marriage was about being partners who support each other through everything. He thought marriage was about traditional roles where the man provides and the woman takes care of everything else without complaining. The Mother's Day incident was just the catalyst that made me realize how incompatible we really were. If he had been willing to acknowledge my hurt and work on our problems, maybe we could have figured it out. But he wasn't willing to do that. I don't regret refusing to celebrate Father's Day. It was one of the first times I stood up for myself and refused to pretend that everything was fine when it wasn't. It was the beginning of me realizing that I deserved better. Not sure what the future holds, but am optimistic. Excited to raise Lily in an environment where she'll learn that she deserves to be treated with respect and kindness. To anyone who might be in a similar situation, trust your instincts. If your partner consistently dismisses your feelings, refuses to acknowledge when they've hurt you, or makes you feel like you're asking for too much when you ask for basic respect, those are red flags. Postpartum depression is real, and it's not your fault. You deserve a partner who will support you through it, not dismiss it as an excuse. You deserve to be treated with kindness and respect, especially during one of the most vulnerable times in your life. Thank you to everyone who followed my story and offered support. Your comments helped me realize that I wasn't crazy for wanting to be treated better, and that I had the strength to make the changes I needed to make. Closing this chapter of my life and starting a new one. Scared but also hopeful. I think both Lily and I will be better for it.